Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Door here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Daredevil Born Again Season 1, Episode 2, titled Optics. Matt Murdock gets a new client who's more than he claims to be, and Fisk learns the power of optics. Okay, so this, like I said, isn't my usual way of doing these recordings, because normally this would be coming out a week after the first episode. And I also wouldn't be recording it until the morning of the episode coming out. But I want to watch more of this show. And also I'm doing the updated dual release, so I'm not I'm not a week behind, but um I have taken a break, obviously, to watch some of the other reactions to the first episode. Only the first episode. I've had to pause several videos halfway through because people like putting 1 and 2 in the same video, but I'm never going to do that. Anyway, I've seen a lot of comments on the videos about people discussing certain things. It's the same people in everyone's comments saying that, one, um, back in season 2 of the Netflix show, when Frank had Matt tied up on the roof, he said to him, "You're one bad day away from becoming me." And what do we see when Matt's best friend, which is arguably a bad day, his best friend being killed, what do we see when that happens? He immediately tries to kill the criminal who did it. He proved Frank right by tossing Bullseye off that roof. And that is the core reason as to why he gave up Daredevil. Because he knew in that moment Frank was right. The next one. Apparently, and I missed this because I wasn't looking at it, Wilson was not wearing cufflinks in the first episode. Like, we know how important to that character those cufflinks are. All throughout the Netflix show, to the fact that he was identifiable by just the cufflinks in the in the Hawkeye show. Like, we knew as soon as we saw those cufflinks that it was Wilson Fisk. So for him not to be wearing them anymore is very big for the character. I forgot to go back and verify this, but it's interesting if true. And the third one, now this was actually unique to not I didn't see this in a lot of places, but there's been a theory that Vanessa was the one who hired Dex to shoot Foggy. Because we know Matt had that deal at the end of season 3 with Fisk where he said, "If you come after Foggy or Karen again, I will out Vanessa's involvement in everything to the public." And, well, we had the interaction between Matt and Wilson where Wilson said, "I had no involvement in this, I kept up my side of the deal," and Matt can tell when someone's lying. However, he made no such arrangement with Vanessa, and we know that Vanessa has used Dex to kill people in the past because she's the one who told Dex to shoot Nadine. So it could have been that she found out, hey, Dex is out, hey, Matt, Foggy, and Karen are all going to be in the same place. Why don't we use one bird, one stone, to kill these birds? But, yeah, I don't know. It could be revealed that that is the case. I actually think that it's a very plausible theory, but, yeah, I don't know. Also, I've just noticed, while looking at my recording, that this has been peaking pretty much the entire time. So I'm just going to turn my microphone down a little bit. Anyway, now that I'm done yapping at 5 minutes, let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go. popped up at exactly 5 minutes. So this is the proper introduction of White Tiger then, considering the actor just got a in memoriam. Also, another thing I saw pointed out that I didn't notice, they had Bullseye's hands all wrapped up and everything in his trial, so that he couldn't just pick up anything, because anything in his hand is a deadly weapon. Also, another thing, apparently McDuffie is actually from the comics, and I have comics that she's in, but she's also, Kirsten McDuffie was a love interest of Matt, not her friend. Interesting. So he's still publicly with Vanessa. Hmm. Interesting. We got a Spider-Man call out. So we got Punisher, Spider-Man, and Daredevil called out in his speech. It is interesting that Kingpin is a big Spider-Man villain, yet we've never seen them in live action face off. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do, mate. To think to get a kick in as you're being dragged away. That was accidental. What? Why would? Okay. Was it like a sting operation or what? Was the one that he accidentally? Technically, he didn't kill that guy. He tripped over the body of his friend while trying to throw a punch and fell in front of the train. Like, in the barest sense, he is not like gonna be done for murder. It is potentially going to be what is it? Is it a homicide or manslaughter? That's the accidental one because he facilitated the body on the ground that person tripped over, and he got the person to attack him. So if he hadn't beaten that person to the ground or incited the incident, then. But he could also say, hey, this cop was beating on a person. I stepped in to stop them, not knowing that they were cops. And then they continued beating on me. I'm guessing that's Matt's client. Also, I had a feeling from the synopsis that it was gonna be White Tiger. At least I'm assuming that's Hector. Who did you who did you punch? Hmm. Well, at least you're being honest. It is weird seeing Kingpin laugh when people are being honest with him. Like there was that. There was Matt bringing up Echo shooting him. Well, you haven't been seen with her since. Hmm. The traditional voters want to see a man whose wife supports him unconditionally, not a strong, independent woman. It is weird that Kingpin's love of his wife and willingness to let her do whatever has turned him against the traditional, well, turned the traditional ones against him. He's telling the truth. Hmm. 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 Is that an issue, or have you heard tell of the blind lawyer? The first 100 days, eh? He's gonna start by fixing the streets. Hmm. I mean, he is the mayor. Is he able to just veto the thingo? Well, this is probably good for optics. Hmm. I'm pretty sure Kirsten McDuffie is from a run where most of New York knows Matt is Daredevil. Like it was published in the newspaper, and then he got it retracted. So when they made their firm together in the comics, she knew she was working with Daredevil. Because in like their first meeting, she chucked a pencil at him to see if he would dodge it. Hmm. Both. He hopes Fisk is watching closely, considering Fisk himself is actually a cop killer. Familiar with. Oops, I just realized I don't have subtitles on. Okay. Hmm. So that's BB. So first time we've actually seen the voice behind the report. What other recording device does she have? Hmm. If I remember correctly, no one knows that Fisk is the one behind Ben Urich's death, right? Okay. Nice. Hmm. Hmm. That sounds like pro vigilante talk. That is a thing. Ooh. Ask it as you're leaving. Hmm. Hmm. How are you going to use it? I don't actually know if she's from the comics. He looked familiar. Why? They focused him on him twice now, and he's next in line. Is, is that Tyler? Uh, gotta gotta check that. I thought it sounded like him. Yes, that is that is Tyler from Wednesday. Do you really want to show up at a Cubs funeral when the Cubs aren't really in your favor? Hmm. Oh, hey, he does still have scarring over his eye. Yes. I had a feeling it was going to be the shortest running mare. Going to keep it down. Not going to say anything. It's a good thing the cops stand for what is right in this. Hector's suit. What are you What are you looking for specifically, Cherry? Hmm. Does she know he's in there investigating? Really? Just kept it in a box under the bed? I feel like you could have put it somewhere a little more secure. Especially considering I don't think the wife knows. Though it's entirely possible she does. I don't actually know White Tiger's story, at least Hector's story. I'm more familiar with his. I think it's his daughter. Oh, all of a sudden I'm not that interested in dinner. I don't think he's making it up with interest that night. Interesting. So he's already admitted that the amulet gives him powers. Except for the fact that I showed you a clip from back when Daredevil was around. Because that was the same clip that they showed during Cherry's retirement. Hmm. I thought Rikers was spelled with a Y. Is that a cheesesteak that he was eating? Hmm. He is still, What happened to the whole can't have anything seem illegal? Zero. Hmm. Hmm. I feel like that may come to bite him. The He looks familiar as well, but I don't have a specific character. Hmm. I do wonder, is BB going to turn out like her uncle and be a big part of what brings Fisk down? Hmm. Were. Yeah. It should probably say something if Cherry, who was a cop, is standing with the people defending Hector. Hmm. Is this the first time he's going to confide in his mum? Possibly. Nope. He's going to be doing some of his own investigating. I do like it focusing on the sounds he can hear, rather than just being like ambient noise that it focused on in the old show. Now we're actually seeing his power in effect. And normally well, we did get that a little with Wesley when he was tracking the watch. Hmm. Well, now you know where he lives. Is it the kid? Well, Tyler? No, it's not. She's going to be really? Oh, oh, it's marriage counseling. Interesting. Now, did Fisk go to her because he knows of the connection with Matt? Right. Vincent did reference counseling in that interview where they were talking about the whole shooting of Foggy. Which vigilante is he talking about? Um, Eight, Echo. And what business is this exactly? Saw someone else while he was gone. Hmm. 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 So they're going to go off and kill the witness, are they? Hmm. They're already here. Hmm. How is this going to go down? Hmm. Mm, hey, I am. What was that? What was that tattoo? Well, unfortunately, he can't exactly identify the cops who did this to him. There was a bit of the Daredevil tune in there. Oh, that's a compound fracture. Ow. Oh, madness in his face there. Oh, that sounded like a broken neck. Something crunched when he slammed against the ground. Okay. So that is another big thing we saw from the trailer. We're really running out on things we've actually seen already, which is a good thing with trailers. If they can get people so enticed, like the Born Again trailer did, while showing only from the start of the season, that is an effective trailer. Okay, how's this gonna play? Because, like, those cops can't exactly say who attacked them, who beat the shit out of them, without Matt then turning around and saying, "Yeah, I've had formal self defense training. Like, my dad was a boxer. He taught me how to punch. I've done self defense. I'm a blind man." They got their ass kicked by a blind man that they were holding a gun to because I wouldn't tell them we're as sensitive witnesses. Like, there's no way they can really spin this around to make it look good on them. It is a sensitive witness, yeah? Right. The sensitive witness is one that they think might be an issue. Sensitive witness. Um, a vulnerable witness. No, no, that's not it. Um, it's usually reserved for victims of domestic violence where they need to get the person in protection from the perpetrator. And I feel like that would apply to this case because the people from the opposition are coming to try and take out the one key witness of Like, I feel like that applies to this case, so I'm just gonna stick by calling him that. Like, there's no way those cops could really say anything without it coming out what they were doing, which would then strengthen the case against them, because if it's the cop who was the partner of the person that that Hector killed, and then he's the one who was there trying to take out the only person who could corroborate Hector's case. That's a um shut case on. Obviously, they don't want this information getting out because it's going to completely screw up their case. Now, obviously, that's not really how it works, but I want to check something. Punisher Season 2 logo. I want to see. Yeah. Is. Oh, is. Is that the guy from Welcome Back, Frank? Just gonna get back to the scene where they show the tattoo. It's back a little before that. It's when he first slams him against the wall, isn't it? Yeah, does that does look like Frank's specifically John Bernthal's Punisher's logo. How it's got the elongated um mouth of on the bottom. It also sort of looks like the Watch Dogs logo, but I know they're not a part of it, right? Watch Dogs, Agents of Shield. No, they are sort of similar, but no, their mask is more angular. I've got to check something. At least I know exactly what comic I'm looking for. Okay, no. I thought that in the Welcome Back Frank story, one of the copycats, one of these three, you've got Payback, Elite, and I don't think the priest ever actually got a name. I thought one of them was a cop. Turns out, no. So the Punisher tattoo. There's also the fact that it had an American flag in it, like a reversed American flag based on the design, because it's got the stripes running down the left side and the spot for the stars on the right, as opposed to right for stars, left for the stripes. So it's got an inverted American flag and seemingly Punisher skull. I thought maybe he was one of the copycats from this, because they have pulled from the Welcome Back Frank story in the past. Specifically, if we move to part one of the comic, this scene where Matt and Frank meet, Frank ties Matt up on the rooftop with a gun taped to his hand, where it's either you shoot Frank or Frank kills someone. If you remember, that scene played out near 1-to-1 in season 2. So I thought maybe they were jumping back to this story. There's also something of parts of this story was in the 2004 movie. Specifically, the characters of Mr. Bumpo, Spacker Dave, the fact that Punisher was going up against the Russian and like stabbed him to no reaction. All of that's from the Welcome Back Frank story. But yeah, so I don't know what to do with this tattoo, because is he someone who idolizes the Punisher, so in going after this person thinks that he is enacting Frank's law by taking out criminals? Or is this some other cult? Because those copycats, the three that I showed, Elite, Payback, and the Priest, all of them idolized Frank's ideals to an extent, but bastardized it as they were copying him. Like, is it Payback? I've already forgotten. Payback, the big guy, he didn't care about innocents being caught in the crossfire. Yet, if you remember Frank, he was very meticulous in his shots. Even when he was shooting up that hospital, no one got hurt that he didn't intend to. Elite was going after minorities. And the priest, I forget what he said to the priest when he confronted them. Oh yeah, he just called him a lunatic because he was going at. He didn't seem to have any like real pattern. He was just going after people who came to him for confessional and that. So yeah, I thought maybe this cop was going to turn out to be one of those guys. I was wrong, but it does seem like it could be either people are idolizing Frank, and that's going to be a part of this show, or this is like in the same way that the American flag is inverted, they're the inverse of the Punisher. I don't know, but I just think it's very interesting. Hey guys, Future Dylan here. I actually found what I was thinking of when I was thinking maybe Frank was dealing with one of the copycats from Welcome Back, Frank. It's actually a panel from Punisher Volume 12, um, number 13 from 2019, where Frank encounters a couple cops who aren't exactly trying to arrest him. I'll bring up the panels here. As you can see, one of them takes a selfie with him and points to the fact that they've adopted his logo on their car. It's like, what the hell is this? It's not the whole force. Hell, most of them want you in the ground, but some of us believe in what you do. We're doing whatever we can to take back the streets. He then peels the sticker off the car. It's like, who the hell do you think you are? Like it or not, you started something. You showed how it's done. Now you don't like others following your example? Too bad, tough guy. If I find out you are trying to do what I do, I'll come for you next. Careful what you say here, Castle. It's starting to sound an awful lot like a threat. It was. I'll say this once. We're not the same. You took an oath to uphold the law. You help people. I gave that up a long time ago. You don't do what I do. Nobody does. You boys need a role model? His name's Captain America, and he'd be happy to have you. Because the Punisher does not stand by other people doing what he does. If he encounters someone who is killing criminals in the same way that he is, he will kill them. Like with the copycats from Welcome Back, Frank. It's not specifically their ideals that he was having to go at. Like, yes, he said, you don't care about collateral damage, you're a lunatic, and you're a Nazi. It doesn't matter. Even without that, he would still take them all out because they are doing what he does. As he said, when this job is done, he has a bullet saved for himself. I don't remember what version of the Punisher says that, but he will, once he's dealt with all crime, he will take himself out. That is what the Punisher stands for. So when he sees cops adopting his image, like, say, a tattoo on their arm, I don't think he's going to be too happy about that. And considering we know John Bernthal is coming back for this show, we could have him encountering these cops who have adopted his image. Now, as I was looking for this image, apparently There are real world cops who have adopted the Punisher's image, like adopted his logo. And I feel like this could also be the show speaking out about them. Because it is not on the police to do what Frank Castle does. They do not get to say which criminals get taken out. It is their job to arrest them and then let the law deal with them. So, yeah, I feel like not only is this a reference to an actual comic run, and by the looks of it, it's from the Mayor Fisk run, but it could also be them speaking out on actual real world issues. Anyway, back to my analysis of the episode. And they made a point to show the tattoo, just like they made a show to show. They made a point to show the guy played by the same one who played Tyler in Wednesday, who played the Hyde. Like, I don't know if that kid coming up to, I'm going to keep calling him a kid because what I know him as, he played a teenager. I don't know if they showed him to act as a red herring for that scene at the end where it's like, oh, I'm meeting up with a new client. I can't meet our our appointment with Matt. Meet the reservation. I don't know if it was meant to be a. You saw this kid come up to her, be like, "Hey, I need to see someone," and then it's going to subvert that later on in the episode by making you think her new client is the kid, but actually it's Fisk. Though I feel like they either would, excuse me, they wouldn't have shown, what is it, Buck, um, being also in line behind the kid if they, were going to do that, or they would have left it ambiguous as to who she was actually seeing if that was the intention. So I don't know if he's going to have a bigger role in this. I feel like the commissioner is going to be in some way later down the line working with Cherry. Like he's going to be an inside man into Fisk's operations. I don't know. It's just he seems like he's. It made it seem like that kid's an affair child. So I can't really say he seems like someone of high morals, but he does seem like someone in opposition of Fisk. He's made that very clear. So, yeah, I don't know. Uh, who else was in this episode? Daredevil. I should have brought this up while I was looking through the comics. Let's see, Born Again, episode 2. Um, is it Optics? There we go. What was his name? The one played by Hunter Doohan, the one that I've been calling the kid, his name's apparently Bastion. D.A. Hochberg. John Benjamin Hickey. See, do I know him from anything? Apparently he was in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen as someone named Galloway. Don't remember anyone like that. Hang on, just loading. Any more? He was Peter Lyon in Jessica Jones. Which episode? Season 3. Okay, never seen it. I'm not seeing anything that I'd know him from. So, yeah, no. Must be just one of those faces that I say looks like someone, then isn't. Because I'm not good at recognizing faces. But I did get one correct. Um, yeah. So I'm now caught up, which is a weird feeling. But I don't I don't actually know where this is going. Like, I want to know what the deal with the tattoo is. That is my biggest pressing issue. There's also the issue of why were these two cops shaking down this well, he's a witness now, but he wasn't then. What was his name? Nicky Torres. The name doesn't sound familiar, like from the comics. The if there's anything in Marvel, no, there's only relation to this show. Okay, Heather Glenn. I should have checked this up after the first episode. Heather Glenn is a character. There's also Kirsten McDuffie. Yes, I do know her. I think it was. Hmm. Yeah, I think she did have a relationship with Matt. Um, yeah, I think she did have a relationship. Yeah, their friendly relationship developed into a romantic one, and they dated. When he moved to San Francisco, they made a law firm. Heather Glenn also sounds like a name I'm familiar with. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to be looking into the wikis too deep, just in case things show up, which I've fallen into the trap of many a times. But yeah. Anyway, it's a very interesting set of episodes. Like, usually it's because they feel like the first episode won't stand alone that they do the 2 episode premiere. And I guess now they've just gotten into a pattern where they expect a 2 episode premiere from us, so we have to do it. But I actually feel like the second episode was the weaker of the two, and that isn't to say that the second episode was bad. It's just interesting. It's interesting that they get us to know White Tiger outside of his mask first. Like, I feel like normally they'd have White Tiger show up and he'd form a relationship with the characters, and then over time we'd learn who Hector is. Sort of what they did with Punisher. Like, he showed up as the Punisher to begin with, and then over time through Karen we got to learn Frank. So it's interesting that they'd reverse that. But interested to see where that trial goes. I don't know whether it's going to go over like the whole season or if it's just going to be a couple episode thing. It is nice for them to go back to the courtroom setting because I know that was an issue with She-Hulk where they didn't do enough of the lawyering stuff. At least that was one of the big complaints from the people who weren't just complaining about stuff that existed in the comics. And then with season 3 of Daredevil, there's pretty much no courtroom stuff. Season 2, there was a little bit. Like, it is nice that they're bringing back lawyer Matthew for Daredevil. Anyway, I'm gonna end this one here. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.